liberty and justice for all.
So JR is going to be a few minutes late for those of you who are just tuning in. I'm going to read what he would have said he'd done. So he signed the VW 1911 printing expense with special town meeting mailing, the monthly iPad expense, the VW 1912 refreshment expense for the building project and public forum, and the PR 1910 payroll for Ellen Davidson. We have a Chapter 40, Section 53A, grants and gifts, expected expenditures. There's no gifts there. Oh, it's just listed as that. Okay. And we're going to start with business licenses. I'll read through the list. If anyone has a hold that they want to talk about, just mark it and we'll go back to it. So we have the Old Town Country Club, Inc., Marsh Ave, Adello Scrivno DB Corner Cupboard, Sylvanowicz Family Associates, DBA Liquors.
When you gonna memorize?
Yeah. Pizza Factory, Plum Island Provisions, 29 Plum Island Boulevard, Plum Island Fine Wine and Spirits, the Cottage Wine and Spirits, 14 Plum Island Boulevard, the Butchery, doing business as Newbury Butchery, 2 Morgan Ave, Old Newbury Golf Club, doing business as Newbury Golf Club, Plum Island Beachcomber, Rusty Can, and Bram C1 LLC. So, any discussion about any of these?
Motion to approve all.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's do the correspondence.
All right. So we received a letter from Jim Robinson, who is stepping down on the planning board, seeking to do other things in town. So I believe that means there'll be an opening.
It is, we're having discussions with some potential candidates.
Okay.
Motion to send a letter of thanks out to him.
Second.
Yep.
Any discussion?
No, thank Jim. He stepped up and sent on a board that he's really, I think, outside of his comfort zone, but he was a soldier and shoulder on it and did it. And I think the town's thankful. It'd be nice to send a board.
And he will be missed on the board. He is a good voice of reason.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. We received a letter from the town of Rowley asking the school committee and the Triton staff to keep the school budget reasonable. It was a bit terse, I think, but they're very opinionated on the matter and want the expenses from the regional school to be kept
Yeah,
low.
that's a letter worth reading.
You want to read through
I
it?
don't have much of a voice, but
Oh.
it's worth reading just because of the things they're doing in their town.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Maybe pick up on the paragraph, the town is supportive of Pineville School, but they're doing a lot.
Yeah,
Throw in the fire station and, you know.
So this is regarding the fiscal year 20 Triton budget. It's to the chairperson of the Triton Regional School Committee, Narissa Wallen, and I think all the boards, selectmen, and finance committees of the 3 towns were copied. As you start developing the fiscal year 20 budget, I respectfully ask the Triton Regional School Committee and school administration to work within the parameters of realistic and available funds in the 3 towns that make up the Triton Regional School District. The Board of Selectmen supports an increase in Raleigh's assessment of no more than $290,000 in fiscal year 20. This amount reflects half of the town's anticipated new property tax revenue and is an estimate and subject to change. Raleigh town officials have observed consistent decreases in Raleigh student enrollments over the past decade. The enrollment reports show a 59 student decrease for Raleigh between October 1, 2017 and October 1, 2018. Each budget season, the town officials bring these enrollment decreases to the attention of the school committee and administration. Despite the continuous decrease in student enrollment each year, the school committee presents steep operating budget increases when there should be at a minimum no increase or a decrease commensurate with lower Triton District student enrollment numbers. The town has supported the Pine Grove School renovation project. While the town receives reimbursements for part of the cost of this project, the Raleigh taxpayers will be paying more than $21 million for the town's share of this much-needed project. As you are fully aware, the fiscal year 19 school budget approved by the school committee was not supported by the majority of the Raleigh voters at the May 8, 2018 annual town election by rejecting a $532,640 Proposition 2.5 property tax increase. The Board of Selectmen respects the outcome of this vote and does not want to propose another override vote to fund a Triton budget that exceeds Raleigh's available funds. On behalf of the Raleigh Board of Selectmen, I respectfully ask the Triton School Committee and the school administration to approach the next budget season with careful consideration and not just the district's expenses, but also taking into consideration available revenues. I look forward to working with you and Superintendent Forget on developing and setting a fair and reasonable school operating budget in fiscal year 20.
I think it would be worth noting that Raleigh also has replaced other failing infrastructure with a new police station and fire station construction project.
We're in correspondence.
Okay. I'll let you keep going, and I'll take over from there.
You judge on
Yeah, we just did the letter from Raleigh. We got 2 letters from Comcast and Xfinity talking about rate hikes and how they're once again cutting services and raising prices, and they hope we all really appreciate that.
Christmas present.
Yeah, the annual increase in cost and decrease in services.
If you analyze what Damon just said, there isn't many places that get away with that. Many
Yes.
businesses out there.
Almost every package and channel is going up about $4, just so you know. It's, they didn't ask us, they're just telling us. So everyone should have gotten the same letter that we got, but just in case you're just catching up with it now.
I read in the paper the other day, they were looking to cut PEG also.
No, that's an FCC thing.
Okay.
That's an FCC ruling that's still out there, and it's not quite, the FCC hasn't ruled on that yet. But if the FCC lets them to, yes, they will cut them. They'll cut, and they just got a
So
huge tax.
basically, with these
credit
increases,
too.
they can afford better lobbyists, and they
And
figure, so, okay,
just
I get
got-
it.
They just, if I remember they correctly, not too long ago, they got a big tax break when the tax reform went in, and they
Yeah.
gave all their, I think, employees $50 bonus.
So where's Fios?
Where's Files? Not coming to Newbury.
So correspondence.
Yeah, we got through correspondence, so.
All right, thank you for handling that. I was running a couple of minutes late tonight. Orchard Street 500 is tied up.
We could do the town administrator's report, we skipped over that, or do you want to wait until later?
Just briefly, I think I mentioned to you that the Plum Island bathroom closing occurred on October 18th. And we had an opportunity to meet with Rachel Harris of Vesta Architecture to discuss the design. And we, obviously, we had received notice from Senator Tarr's office that the state had passed a $350,000 appropriation, but as of yet, that is not definitive. So we're still waiting. Once the design's ready, we'll just have to wait to hear to move the project forward, but hopefully we'll have everything ready to go when that comes through. Just wanted to let you know that the library has been experiencing HVAC issues. The DPW did conduct air quality testing, and they continue to try and identify it. Nothing was identified in the report of the air quality, but they're getting a musty smell, so.
Was this after they removed the bird's nest from the chimney?
I believe so.
Okay.
It continues though.
It continues, okay.
Yeah, it
I
continues.
don't remember when they were doing that, so.
Diane Doyle, our treasurer collector, has received recertification as a Massachusetts municipal collector and treasurer. She's worked really hard over the last few years to obtain the certification, and it's quite an honor to get it, so congratulations to Diane. And also wanted to just let you know with great sadness that Caleb Noble has tendered his resignation. His last day is gonna be on December 18th, and after that date, he's not gonna be available for 2 months even to assist us in transitioning. He's gonna be hitting the road, so have a great trip.
All right, many thanks to Caleb, he's the wizard behind the wall
Yes,
over there,
he is.
running the
So
cameras.
what is the town plan to replace them?
Well, that's something I
That's something
reached out to the chairman.
we're all gonna have to begin discussions about.
What that position looks like,
Right.
what it entails.
Because as he leaves the position, there's no one to do community programming, so.
There's nobody to do anything.
Ouch.
Big problem.
So be thinking about this between now and our next meeting.
And drink a lot of Saint cider.
Right.
Is he
Support the
taking
boy as
things
he
out
moves
on
on.
the road? Is that what he's doing?
I haven't talked to him personally, I don't know.
Okay, so anyways, that's enough about Caleb. Thank you, Caleb.
We're probably
7:15?
squeezing the meeting now.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes.
Okay, chairman's report, okay, good man. So you guys knocked out some business in 3 minutes, huh?
Listen, we don't fool around here. We're right to the agenda.
All right, business licenses?
Yeah.
Jeez,
Their liquor licenses.
okay.
We can
We're
take-
at,
we
we're
can-
at minutes.
We can take
Fair enough.
citizens' concerns.
Yeah, any citizens' concerns? Anything anyone wants to bring up? While I'm away a few seconds here.
Minutes?
3 minutes.
Everyone have a chance to review
Yeah.
meeting minutes? Oh, Mr. Matthews.
I got a question. From Matthews, Main Street, on the signed expenses for today, the BW 19-11 was for printing expenses for the special town meeting, and refreshment expenses for the public building forum. That's all bundled into one thing. One
It's
payment
all
made
done,
out.
no, it's all done on, it's called the warrant, it's a vendor warrant, and the vendor warrant number is 19-11. So on vendor warrant 1911, it covered, those expenses were in that warrant, separately, but in the warrant. So instead of listing each one, I listed the warrant number and then what was covered for the Board of Selectmen in that warrant.
Was there a price put on all that?
Yep, absolutely.
We
The
don't
warrants
we
have
don't
all-
have to know all that stuff.
The warrants have all have prices on them, and they're all public. Come see them.
We've
You can
got,
certainly get copies
Because
of them if you
there's-
like.
All right, because there's a monthly iPad expense on there also.
Mhm.
And then on VW 19-12, there's another monthly iPad expense for the same month,
No,
different month.
one is October and one is November. It depends on when the bills come in. So the one for October was probably received a bit late.
Because the last meeting on the 13th, there was the VW 19-10 that had a monthly iPad expense also. That was probably for September.
Right.
And there was also some printing and mailing expenses.
Everything's available if you'd like copies. All you have to do is make the request.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, we've
I'm
gone.
just curious, it just seems like they're
we've gone through-
repetitious.
we've
Well, they
gone-
are.
Some bills come every month.
Yeah.
We've gone through this before, especially with warrants, and they are open, and you can look at them, and we've even had, I can remember, I think it was David or someone, one of us, I'm gonna sit and read every warrant totally all the way through before I sign it. And it was like, what,
Me.
300? So, you know, it just, that's what we have to count on the staff to be able to, from Eileen up through to Ellen especially, to
There's
put
checks
that
and
stuff in
balances.
order. But it's open for you to look at and We love
Yeah, I was
having
just
them.
wondering, because I was reading the agenda, and it just seemed like they were
It gets lumped,
coming up
it gets,
over and over
it
again.
gets lumped together.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Just trying to get educated a little bit here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Understood. All right, we ready to begin?
Yep.
You ready, Bud? Michelle?
I guess-
Michelle?
So in accordance with Chapter 369, Acts of 1982, Section 1, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Newbury will hold a public hearing on the determination of the percentage of tax levy to be borne by each class of real property for fiscal year 2019. Hearing is to be held on Tuesday, November 27th, 2018, at 7:15 p.m. at Newbury Municipal Offices, second floor hearing room, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Massachusetts, 01922.
Motion to open hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. The purpose of the public classification hearing is for the Board of Selectmen to determine the allocation of the local property tax to be borne by the 4 classes of real property and Class 5, which is personal property for fiscal year 2019. In deciding the allocation, the Selectmen must adopt the residential factor. The residential factor is used to determine the percentage of the tax levy that is applied to each class of real and personal property. The Board of Assessors apply these percentages to the individual property classes according to Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 56. It is the responsibility of the assessors to provide the Selectmen with relevant information and to discuss the fiscal effects of possible alternatives. Total assessed values for fiscal year 2019, you can see the 5 classes listed below. Some salient facts about fiscal year 2019. 2019 is an interim year. Every 5 years, the Department of Revenue recertifies the town, and our last certification year was in fiscal year 2017. So our next certification year will be 2022. New growth for fiscal year 2019 is slightly down in the home sector for single families. Personal property new growth also decreased slightly from last year due to the fact that we had a solar agreement in 2018 and we didn't have a new one in 2019, but I think we have one coming up in 2020. New growth in the commercial area has slightly increased due to the self-storage facility on the very first Turnpike. And you can see the total new growth, 83% came from the residential sector and 17% from commercial, industrial, and personal property. There's a table listing the new growth dating back to 2007, just so you can have a little bit of history on that. The total taxable value for the town for fiscal year 2019 is $1,564,714,916. The residential open space portion is 95.6%, and the commercial, industrial, and personal property portion is 4.4%. The tax levy is calculated as below, and on page 5, you can see the unused levy limit, which is also called the excess levy capacity, is $8,156.76. The tax rate. The tax rate is the tax levy divided by the town's taxable valuation. This is known as a uniform or single tax rate. Under this rate, each class of property pays a share of the tax levy equal to its share of the total town value. The tax rate used in this report is the fiscal year 2018 tax rate of $10.90 per thousand. And the reason is because our fiscal year 19 tax rate is pending the Department of Revenue's approval, so we couldn't use that yet. The residential factor adopted by a community governs the percentage of the tax levy that is to be paid by the residential property owners. A residential factor of 1 will result in the taxation of all property at the same rate, which is a uniform tax rate. However, the law allows commercial, industrial, personal property tax rate for the town of Newbury to be as high as 50% above the uniform rate, and the residential open space to be as low as 65% of the uniform rate. Historically, Newbury has always maintained a single rate. Shifting the tax onto commercial, industrial, and personal properties would create a tax burden for those properties, while the residential properties would only benefit from a small saving. Newbury's total taxable valuation is comprised of 95.6% residential and 4.4% commercial, industrial, and personal properties combined. Residential exemption. The Board of Selectmen may adopt an exemption of up to 35% to shift the residential class tax burden from lower assessed properties that are the principal residence of a taxpayer to higher assessed properties and properties that are not the principal residence of a taxpayer. A scenario would be as below. Without an exemption, the average single family for fiscal year 2019 is assessed at $523,024 times the tax rate of $10.90 per thousand. The yearly taxes are $5,796. If you were to adopt the residential exemption, the assessed value would drop to $362,132, but the tax rate would go up to $16.77 per thousand, which would make the yearly taxes $6,072.94, which actually are $371.70 higher than no exemption. The Board of Assessors has consistently recommended that a residential exemption not be adopted. It places an unjustified additional burden on the other residences. The exemption slightly decreases the value of those properties under the median assessed value that are owner occupied. However, it shifts the burden to all properties over the median assessed value, whether they are owner occupied or not. So you'll have to take a vote on that. You can take it at the end of the presentation. Small commercial exemption. This exemption is similar to the residential exemption above. This exemption is beneficial to communities with large commercial entities. It shifts the burden within the commercial class from small businesses to larger ones. Since most businesses in Newbury are small, we would not see a relief in taxes. Therefore, the Board of Assessors has consistently recommended that a small commercial exemption not be adopted. Classification. The Board of Selectmen may shift the town's tax burden from the residential class to the commercial, industrial, and personal property classes, as long as the shift does not exceed the minimal residential factor. This means the burden cannot be shifted more than 50%. Page 8 contains information on the impact of any shift in the tax burden. So if you turn to page 8, there's a spreadsheet. And at the top of the sheet, you see the breakdown of all the different classes. And if we were to shift the tax rate, you could see the tax amounts that would be paid in that particular class. However, if you go to the bottom of the page, specifically where it says average single-family house tax savings at classified rate. The average single family at $523,024 at the tax rate of $10.90 per thousand, you can see that the taxes paid at a single rate would be $5,701. If we were to shift the rate by 10%, the rate becomes $10.85 per thousand. The taxes for the residential section for the average single family would be $5,675, which is a saving of $26 per year. But the impact on the typical commercial property is an increase of $684. If we were to shift the rate by 25%, the savings to the average single family would be $66 per year, but the impact on the commercial property would be $1,710. And last but not least, if we were to shift the rate at the maximum of 50%, the saving to the single family would be $131, but the impact on the commercial and industrial property would be $3,420 per year. Therefore, the Board of Assessors is unanimous in its recommendation to retain the uniform tax rate for fiscal year 2019 with a residential factor of 1. Selectmen should take a vote and should sign the LA5 and vote to allow authorization for Town Administrator Tracy Blaze to sign the other 5 on the DOR gateway system on your behalf.
Motion?
Thank you.
All right, so we vote no change in the residential exemption.
No to
Vote to-
residential exemption and then no to small commercial.
Do we need to do a vote on the residential, a vote not on the small, and a vote
Yes.
to retain the
Single
Single,
Right.
yeah.
single? Okay, so first, vote for no change in the residential exemption.
I second that.
Second.
Discussion. Amy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Vote for no change in the small commercial exemption.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
Vote to retain the residential factor of 1.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
And those are all
Thank you.
for fiscal year.
And we need to vote to authorize Tracy Blaze to sign the gateway.
You'll have to sign the LA 5, and Tracy will be able to upload it on the gateway system and vote and sign electronically on your behalf.
To
So you'll have to sign the LA 5.
vote to sign the LA 5 and authorize
Tracy
Tracy Blaze
Use the gateway.
to use the gateway on our behalf.
Second.
Perfect.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That last one I couldn't get fast enough.
Thank you very much.
Vote to close the public hearing? Or mark to close the public hearing?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Michelle, thank you.
Thank God. Hey, Chief. Met your son the other day for such a fine young man. Good boy.
All right, moving on. We've covered everything but old business. So does anyone have
No, we have to do the minutes. Do you want to do the minutes now?
review meeting minutes?
Motion to sign minutes as written.
Sorry. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Old business, forming a new construction committee, 3 members. Did we get the charge back from town council?
No, she didn't respond.
Nothing back for a formal charge? Oh, that's stupid.
So what do we want to do? Do we want to wait till we get the charge, or do we want to see if
I think we can adjust the charge if we need to. I think it's pretty clear that they're going to be building a standalone police station. And as we need, we can make our preference clear whether or not it's stuck at the 6.5 budget, or we want to pin it to program, or how we want them to go. But I think we can form them and let them start working.
So do you need a motion to form a construction committee?
Yes.
I make a motion to form a 3-man construction committee.
Second.
Any discussion?
Limit the members.
Excuse me, Chuck?
We said 3, Chuck.
Limit the number of members.
We said 3.
Okay. I did not hear you
I
say
know-
that.
I know
I
that.
beg
I
forgiveness.
know.
Well, as part of this, because it seems as though town hall is going to not be addressed, I think we should also get onto the agenda for possibly our next meeting, the beginning of a formation of a committee to start looking at that as well, because that's going to take on a life of its own.
Do we have a draft of what was sent to the town council?
I have something rough. This is not official. So
Like, what's the direction that we were going in?
basically, a 3-member committee appointed to work with the architects, OPM, and police chief to deliver plans for and construct a functional police station and plans for a functional town hall renovation/addition. Any remaining funds left to begin town hall work. The committee is to meet regularly, deliver project on time and within budget, report to the selectmen, and any other tasks assigned to them by the selectmen that may arise pertaining to the project.
So that's just basically...
That's what got sent off to town council.
That's basically implementing the original vote anyway was 6.5, it's implementing it.
Correct.
So, did we vote on the construction committee? We did vote, we make a motion, did we vote on that?
We haven't voted on it yet.
All right, we should probably form that, choose the members.
Any more discussion on the number of members? All those in favor?
Aye.
So 3 it is.
So, looking at the people that have responded, which I think is open for people to discuss, but
Yeah, I'll just rattle them off quickly. John Keller, 83 Scotland Road. Eric's Fund, 14 Old Farm Way. Bob Connors, 39 Annapolis Way. Jim Moran, 104 Elm Street. Tony Matthews, 111 Main Street.
so for me, and I apologize once again for having this voice, it seems to be dragging on, but the top 3 guys have been on, I think, John, you were on the search committee, right?
Yes.
And Bob and Eric have been on the prior committee, so they're very aware of all the program needs, they're very aware of everything going forward, and they're certainly up to speed. I think I can fair share after looking at your resume, you've built a lot of square footage,
Yes.
and it looks like Eric has, and I know Bob has too, so for me, the top 3 guys, having been on the committee and are involved in the building trades, and John is an OPM now, and Bob is a builder, and Eric is an architect, I think that speaks highly for that. We're lucky to have those people on our committee. And Mike is ex officio, excuse me.
Absolutely. Police chief needs to be involved in the
I mean,
process.
if Mike doesn't like the project at the end of the deal, that's gonna be told to us by Mike.
Yeah.
So,
Would you like to say something, Mike?
I'm not very good at politics, so I apologize.
I don't think many of us are right now.
Why 3? That's my question. And why is the police chief summarily removed from the committee without so much as even a conversation? I'm very upset.
Okay, don't be upset, because you're not really removed. Go ahead, you speak. You want to speak?
It was obvious that it became politically unpopular, that the board was too town heavy. And it wasn't just you that was removed. I was removed. Damon was removed.
Yeah.
You know, along Tracy, Martha.
So to go from too town heavy to no town and remove the person who's going to be occupying the building, to me that doesn't make sense. And ultimately I'm your employee, and I will do whatever the board votes, and I'll do it with a smile, and I'll be the good soldier. But I want it on record that I think it's a bad idea to have no municipal representation on the board. And I have no issues with any of the people that you're suggesting, any of the 5 people that you listed, but I think it's a really bad idea not to have.
So I envision this, and I mean, this is why I was thinking, is that we'd have 3 town residents sit on the board, along with the OPM that's been hired, the project manager that's been hired, and honestly, you too, but not, you wouldn't be a voting member, you would just be
And
as a, what do you call it, as a
Ex officio.
is ex officio, and also to guide the project to make sure that your needs are being met. That was how I envisioned it. I don't know how the rest of the board did.
And the way I think, going from what Alicia said, Mike, if you do not think things are moving in the right direction, you're gonna have the ability to come to the Board of Selectmen. Or you're gonna
I'm
have
coming to the Board of Selectmen right now.
But,
I don't think this is moving in the right direction.
well, and we're listening, and you're gonna have the ability to, you know, look at the program needs and adjust the program needs as these guys get going with the architects, because you know where everything goes in the building. So, I mean, to give you a vote, there's gonna be 3 other votes, I don't know how important that is, but the whole thing is, you're still gonna be listened to, because you're the person that is gonna occupy the building, and you're still gonna be the person that has to adjust all the assigned needs of workspaces and things, because you really know where they should go. I mean, they're gonna have, I mean, this guy's built 4 or 5 or how many other police stations, and they're gonna have the program needs you had already in front of you, and they're gonna try to implement those in the best way they can. They're not changing that. I mean, it's just the way, you know, that's moving forward.
It became so politically unpopular, the project was dead in the water. And
You know, I gotta speak up here. I don't care about political or anything. We need a police station. And I wanna see it built. I wanna see it built. And I don't wanna remove the chief of police from that process, because ultimately it's his police department. So, I'm looking to build, I want a committee that is going to, build a police station, build it within budget. I want a functioning committee. I want a committee that has, can police itself, for lack of a better word, and meet deadlines, and report back to the Board of Selectmen in a pretty regular manner. And I envision you having a say in the whole thing.
I'm putting together a comprehensive report. I'm just about done with it now. Should be ready for your next meeting. The thousands and thousands of man hours that have gone into this by not only myself and the town planner and Eric Spahn and countless other people throughout town. It's just difficult for me to comprehend. And again, I'm your employee, I'll do whatever you want. That I have to go back and explain to the women and men of the police department that either, number one, the board finds that the chief of police, my job performance is so lacking in this area that I'm no longer a member of the committee, or you care about my opinion, you like my job performance, but you don't care enough to put me on. It's one of the two, in my mind. And I could be completely wrong, because nobody has had a conversation before I heard about it right here. And I don't like airing things in public like this. I would much rather speak individually.
Well, I like hearing.
Suggest that we table this until maybe we have some time to speak privately. I don't know what else to do.
I
Mike,
think
if it
you're
makes you feel better in this process, we'll vote to have the police chief have a vote.
Well, wait, okay?
So,
I mean,
this is
Wait a minute.
This is what I don't want to happen, to appease me, or I'm standing up here whining. That's not the right way to do it. My suggestion, my request would be respectfully, just to table this for 1 week. I have zero issues with any of the names you mentioned. All good people, and I think we'll do a good job. But I'd like to at least sit down and have individual conversations with you guys as to what I need to be doing either better, what I haven't done well enough, or just some reasoning so I can wrap my head around this, because I'm sitting in the back of the room stewing, and that's not the right place to be, and I don't like throwing it on the Board of Selectmen, who I have a lot of respect for. I don't like throwing it on you guys in a public meeting like this. So
Well, if you didn't
that's all I have to say. And ultimately, like I said, I'm your employee. I'll be the good soldier. I'll do what you need me to do. But I do want it on the record. I'm not very happy about it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It, shift in directions, it wasn't an indication of anyone doing a bad job or anything like that. All the study work, lots of good results came from a lot of hard work from the building committee and the committee before it. One of the arguments I heard over and over and over again was that the board is too town heavy, and for the sake of moving the project forward, that's what I heard from people, and I'm trying to respect people's wishes. I never wanted for the chief to not have any input in the project. That's not to me, that was not the meaning of this, but, you know, it seemed we needed to change. The change to the structure was in order, and, I mean, the project as it was proposed lost by 1,057. That's why we're all here. I mean, you know, two people are off the committee that are sitting at this table.
usually when you have
Three.
a
Sorry.
building committee, and the building committee does what Mike said, takes thousands of hours with Martha and everyone else, it's not uncommon to go to a building committee, which is much more streamlined to handle the building process, the fiscal process, and everything else. It's done all over the place. So, to me, if Mike feels better in the process of having a vote on the committee, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think as the most developed plan is the one that got rejected, and they're gonna have to be going back to design work. I don't necessarily think cutting the chief out makes any sense.
And that was never my intent.
Well, if we cut it down to a 3-person building committee, as Jeff said, you know, a lot of building committees are just review the building as it goes forward. That's after design is complete.
And do the assessments and get them in place, you know, kind of fine tune them, but, I mean, otherwise, I mean, if you have a big committee again, we're gonna basically go all around, Robin Hood's Bar is gonna come back to us again in a whole different form of where we're gonna be. It still has to come back to the board.
Yeah, it always comes back to the board.
And I mean, I had kind of envisioned, and I guess, and I understand Mike, that Mike's gonna be involved in the committee to make sure everything goes correctly. If Mike doesn't like the direction they're going in, or the building is gonna go in, he's gonna come in and talk to the selectmen and say, I don't like it. But I mean, to me, it'll become a, you know, a 4-man board instead of a 3, but I mean, if Mike would like a vote on that, that's fine with me.
So, this is a pretty big deal, building a police station. We're not the only first town to build a police station. I mean, Salisbury just did it, Merrimack's doing it, Raleigh's doing it, or just did it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of reinventing the wheel. What works best around us? Does anybody even know that question? Tracy, do you have any idea?
In Salisbury, I know in West Newbury, the sheets are involved. We did, I know in West Newbury, when it got to construction, we were well past the design phase. We haven't moved through,
Right,
we haven't started really design yet, other than the renderings you saw that didn't pass. So we're not even there. Construction committees generally, as you mentioned, are much smaller. That's a matter of reviewing invoices, change orders, and those things, but this is a design committee.
We're still at the design phase. So, again, do we have any idea when Salisbury was designed, how many people were on that committee?
But as we know, just because something worked in Salisbury doesn't mean it's gonna work in Newbury.
No, but I mean.
I'm open if someone wants to make a motion.
You know what, I move that we table this and give it a little more
I
thought.
can help you with that answer.
Oh,
It was about.
Come on up, John, please.
Huh?
come on up.
John Keller, 83 Scotland Road. I was the construction project manager for Salisbury Police Station.
Perfect.
And that building committee was made up of town administrators, selectmen, and the chief of police, and they all showed up all the time. Project meetings and building committee meetings. And it didn't work that great, so a smaller committee is much more useful, and I agree with what you're saying. Mike needs to have a lot to say in what goes on. I'm not sure why you should or shouldn't have a vote, but I think that's a great way to do it. So I don't think you need to do it Salisbury because it made it harder.
So there were 9 in the
8 or 9 people?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too many.
It was difficult.
You didn't really have a construction meeting, you had a homeless meeting every week.
Yeah.
Building committee doesn't go with every project meeting, usually maybe one rep. And a construction project, either Tracy's the town rep who goes, or somebody in the committee goes, but that's it. And then the building committee meets, and the selectmen meet periodically to review how it's going.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
4 or 5?
So let's think about that.
We have another comment from Paul.
Steve,
Steve Brown. I was on the building committee in 2014. Didn't we come up with a set of plans for standalone police station? It's like a 45-page report. We're gonna throw that out and start all over again?
I don't plan on throwing anything out. It's all, you know, something can be gleaned from any of the work that's been done, I'm sure.
I mean, that was a standalone police station, and as far as I know, it's all designed.
Remember how big it was, Steve?
Do you remember how big it was? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I believe that was a conceptual drawing, I don't think it was
Not
designed.
a real
Yeah, but there's no sense starting all over again.
Yeah, so, come on up, Eric.
Eric Swan, 14 Old Farm Way. So the past committees from the Public Safety Complex Committee have police and fire, police and town hall new, police standalone, and town hall renovation in schematic form, or sorry, conceptual form, in which there's a first draft plan and there's the program. Exactly what we have now. So the starting point for this will be to take standalone police station from CSS Architects. Bob has a simplified diagram. We have the basement plan from the previous project that we just have, which is a single floor plan. So we can test out the site with a single plan on one level, an older plan on 2 levels, and then take the current program between those two and see where the program is. So I don't think the program's changing wildly, because between those 3, they're all about 9,000 plus or minus square feet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So my thoughts are, once again, the board can do anything they want, and they can make it more complicated, or you can keep it at a level of what we kind of discussed, but that's up to the board.
So my thought is if we move it to 5 people, we could pick 3 people from 3 residents, and then, and I'm just throwing this out there, and the chief, and we could sign the town administrator up, and she could be part of the town planner. Town planners are better. We need somebody, not the chief.
Yeah, whatever.
God, please no.
Have enough?
What do you think would be
Yes,
a
sir.
best functioning committee?
So typically, in the public market or the private market, there's OAC, there's the owner, there's the architect, and the contractor. So during design phases, there are a few more people and a few more stakeholders involved. Depending on, if it's an academic institution, there could be hundreds of people in a room to get started, but eventually it gets weeded down. But by the time you get through construction documents and you're talking about details, and you get into construction, typically the weekly meetings are just the owner, the architect, and the contractor. So the 3, or the suggestion of 3 comes from the fact of having an owner, an architect, and a builder represent the town at that meeting, where you're going to have an owner, architect, contractor as residents. You're going to have your own PM as the town's representative as a manager, and you're going to be dealing with a contractor. And that, that should be the meeting going forward. I think a little less is more. I'm not trying to screw people, but I think in terms of making decisions at a table for the length of the project, and we're talking 6, hopefully 6 months, maybe 6 months, a little bit longer, 8 months. We're talking 2 months of the whole bid process, which is arduous and not straightforward as a private entity would go out to bid. And then you're talking at least 14, everything takes 14 months, nothing takes less than 14 months, right? So, and then by the time you have that, if and when or wherever funds come out via the process, as the budget gets firmed up, there might be some discussion of town hall or not, depending on where that budget is. This is a 2, almost 3-year process. It's a long haul. Long haul commitment, I should say.
Well, what's your pleasure?
What are you thinking?
We used to have liaisons to committees, non-voting members, they had input. Just something to think about.
You mean from somebody from
I think
the
Mike
board?
should be a voting member, though.
When you say liaison, do you mean one of us?
Could be from different groups that come. Yeah, well, that's how we first started. We were a liaison, one of us was a liaison to the committee. I was on, Damon was on as a liaison, then it went to a voting members, and 2 of them, so it kind of morphed into that.
I mean, these are hard decisions, they're not easy ones.
I just want to do what's I just want to do what's like best and continues to move this project along.
Well, there's the question of the odd number also. We put Michael on it, puts it at 4.
Well, we could also put in an associate member who only votes in the case of a tie.
Alternate or associate?
Alternate or
Yeah,
associate.
okay. Yeah.
And that way, if someone gets called away for work, it's the 3 principal positions that we've already outlined, and possibly the chief. The chief can't leave for very long, but the other members could get a job offer somewhere else and disappear from the project. So having an alternate might
So
not
you're
be
thinking,
bad.
4 and an alternate?
3, the chief and an alternate.
Well, chief's gonna be a voting member, that's 4.
But
And the alternate.
yeah, I'm saying specifically the chief has, as per him being the chief. You know, he might be so frustrated that he decides to resign tonight, it would still be the chief who would be filling that position. So,
Confusing as this is, I think Alicia's idea of a motion to table is in order while we hash it out. Sorry,
That's okay.
So is that a second?
I will second that motion.
Discussion.
I just think we gotta get this right. I just think it's just too important. We've wasted too much time. I mean, when's our next meeting? Do you know when?
maybe the second week in December.
December 11th.
11, yeah, around the corner.
By then, we'll have something back, a charge back from town council.
That's another good point.
And then,
Another 2 weeks, go down the toilet.
yeah, but it's Christmas now. I'd rather get it done right than just throw it together and that's the end of it.
Any other discussion?
Do we want to,
I think in looking at the charge, we need to make clear whether or not the committee is focused on building one standalone police station at under $6.5 million budget, building a 6.5 and renovation of town hall, or building a police station that meets the program needs of the police and designing a town hall. So I think at present,
The charge currently reads, design and construction of a police station, plans for town hall, as
but
attached to this
has
committee.
no reference to the budget, and I think it's important that we say,
Yeah, it does, it says within budget and on time.
but, so cut as much program as needs
no, I
to
don't
bring
think.
it under 6.5. I'm not comfortable with that language. If
Well,
that's what we're doing,
Why we gotta get it back from town council?
because I think the program needs of the police are paramount if we're gonna build a standalone police station.
Do you want to, talk about this or ask
Well, it's
any
moved,
questions?
we're gonna table it. I mean, unless you wanna
Well, I was just,
grill some people.
I don't know if you want to do it now or we'll do it later. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, as I said, Mike's requested a motion to table while we think about it. I think we strongly should listen to him. We don't have the lawyer's input on it. And I think those are 2 very good reasons to put it off till the next meeting, while we hash it out.
I'm just gonna reiterate, many people said to me one of their big problems with this process is the board was too town heavy.
Yeah.
That's fine, but you gotta remember too that we need to hash this out in public at the Board of Selectmen meeting.
That's what we're doing.
Right, so, as far as waiting, 2 weeks to hash it out, we're not gonna be hashing it out outside of this room. I just wanna make that clear.
Any other discussion? those in favor of table?
Actually, can I, there's Jim Moran, we had 5 people submit letters, their willingness to sit on this committee. John Keller, Eric Spahn, and Bob Connors all submitted resumes with what their past work experience has been. Jim Moran and Tony Matthews are 2 other people that they didn't submit any type of work history. I did a quick, myself on LinkedIn, I did a quick LinkedIn, and I did find, work of John, Eric, and Bob, but I did not find anything with Jim and Tony. I don't see Jim here, but Tony, I think you're here, right?
I'm not a LinkedIn guy, I guess.
No, you're not, but can you speak to a little bit about your history? Do you have any prior experience?
Yeah, I wrote in there, I've been in commercial construction for over 30 years.
Yeah, do you have any experience?
I'm retired now.
You're retired, but in the past, did you have any municipal government experience? Have you built, police stations, hospitals, town halls?
Working in,
Just
I wasn't...
private construction?
No, it was commercial construction, a lot of retail fit up, wall structures, sheetrocking, fire safing buildings. I was a foreman for the company for 20 years.
Okay.
Going to meetings and all that. I was been involved with it.
Okay. But you have no experience with like big large office buildings and colleges, hospitals, that kind of work, right?
Yeah.
You've done work on those projects?
Mm-hmm.
Could you send something to the Board of Selectmen with the history of what your past work experience has been? That would be very helpful.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
No, but I think that's it for me.
All right, I think to delay is to continue to get nowhere fast, but it is what it is. All those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me too.
We'll continue to get nowhere fast. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, we've covered it all.
Motion to adjourn.
Warrants, we got warrants?
Did we approve signing warrants?
Motion to sign warrants.
Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting
I'd like to see what
updates.
a warrant looks like. You can see what a warrant.
Meeting updates.
Nothing.
Executive session, none. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's kind of like the town. That's the difference.
January 31st.
At least the decisions over there.
January 1st. I thought we had
Thursday.
something else that came up. Or was that mentioned last meeting? I remember that
That's the
date.
last meeting.
Okay. I
But
feel like
it's scheduled to be held in Newbury.
yeah, okay.
So January 31st.
Oh, yeah,
6:30 p.m.
Oh, yes.
Is that okay with all of you?
7 p.m.?
Nothing
6:30.
6:30.
on the schedule in contest.
ZBA, they can
They can
change.
change things.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're gonna post that as a selectmen's meeting as well.
I think all of us need to walk into this meeting in 2 weeks, into this room, and get ready to make a goddamn decision.
You're right.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.